Hello, friends, and welcome to this second session of optical isomerism. Today, we are going to see the first system of nomenclature for optical isomers. As you all know, optical isomers have same structural formula, only the 3D arrangement is different. So, the standard IUPAC nomenclature cannot differentiate between the enantiomers or between diastereomers. To write the nomenclature more accurately, initially a DL system of nomenclature was introduced. So let us see the DL system of nomenclature. Okay. Now, the DL system of nomenclature was first put forward by Fischer and the famous organic chemist way back more than 100 years ago. He assigned a configuration to optically active compounds by choosing glyceraldehyde as a standard. Just try to understand that at that time, sugars were the most commonly known, sugars and amino acids were the most commonly known optically active compounds. So, for assigning configuration to sugars, he chose glyceraldehyde as a standard and then extended the same to amino acids. Optical rotation could be measured, so people were aware which glyceraldehyde is dextrorotatory and which is levorotatory. Fischer arbitrarily assigned the following conformation. See, this configuration was assigned to D-glyceraldehyde, that was dextrorotatory. Actually, in every compound, this D and this D have no relationship, but he said that this is the configuration of D-glyceraldehyde and this is the configuration of L-glyceraldehyde. So now how to apply this to each and every sugar? Just try to understand this. Note that the OH group or any heteroatom on the right indicates D configuration, capital D, and that group on the left indicates the L configuration. But this D and L have nothing to do with the substance actually being dextrorotatory or levorotatory, because that dextro and levo is indicated by small d and small l. So, first you have to write the chain in the right way. The longest carbon chain is written vertical and the most highly oxidized carbon is at the top. If COOH is there, then COOH is at the top. Otherwise, CHO or CH2OH. Just see this very common sugar erythrose. CHO is at the top. The vertical chain consists of 4 carbons. Okay. Then configuration of the highest numbered chiral carbon is used for determination of D or L. So let me write the numbers over here of the chain. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay. Now, carbon number 2 and carbon number 3 are the chiral carbons. If you notice, they have 4 different groups attached. So, they are chiral carbons. So, configuration of the highest numbered chiral carbon. Between 2 and 3, this chiral carbon is the highest numbered in the chain. So, at this carbon, the heteroatom is on the right. So, this configuration is D-erythrose. Okay, this is D-erythrose, capital D. Why? Because the heteroatom is on the right. Here, just see here, again, the vertical chain is the longest chain. This is carbon number 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay. Now, carbon number 2 and 3 are chiral carbons. So, configuration of the highest numbered chiral carbon, that is carbon number 3, is taken into consideration. Now at carbon number 3, the heteroatom containing group, the OH, is on the left, and therefore this configuration is L. I hope you understand this. This is L. Let us take this example of trios. Okay. In trios, the highest oxidized carbon is at the top. Okay, the structure is written properly. Now you number the carbons. Okay. Longest chain is vertical, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, the highest numbered carbon is this carbon. Carbon number 3. At carbon number 3, the OH group is on the left. And therefore, this is L-triose, correct? L-triose. There should be a line over here. Somehow I'm not able to put this line. This is L-triose. Coming to this, again number, okay, 1, ensuring that highest oxidized carbon is on the top and the longest chain is vertical. Okay, 2, 3, and 4. Now carbon number 3 is the highest numbered chiral carbon. And there at carbon number 3, the OH group is on the right. And so this is D-triose. Everybody is getting this? I hope everybody is getting this. Now coming to glucose. Okay. The structure is written in a correct way, but let us number. Okay, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and this is 6. So the highest numbered chiral carbon is carbon number 5. I hope everybody understands this. Carbon number 5, the chiral carbons are 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is the highest numbered chiral carbon. And since the OH is on the right, this is D-glucose. Okay. Coming to mandelic acid, here also OH is on the right. So you write it as D-mandelic acid. Correct? In this structure, 1, 2, the highest numbered chiral carbon, there is only one chiral carbon and OH is on the left. So this is L-mandelic acid. Now, look carefully at D-glucose and the other compound. Just let me change this. Now look at this. This is glucose, D-glucose. This is also a sugar. But at carbon number 4, the configuration is altered. Can you see that the configuration is altered at carbon number 4? The configuration of carbon number 4 here is D. Here it is L. But while nomenclating, what you can do, what you have to do, you have to take the configuration of the highest numbered carbon. Okay. And so this compound and this compound is going to be nomenclated exactly the same. It is not same. So DL nomenclature is not able to differentiate between these two structures. Let us see the DL nomenclature for amino acids, and then we will see the shortcomings of DL nomenclature. The configuration of amino acids, the difference is it is determined at the lowest numbered chiral carbon. The method is same. You write the longest chain in a vertical way, most oxidized carbon at the top, but the alpha carbon always has the amino group. And so you take the lowest numbered chiral carbon for determining the configuration. So since this here the heteroatom is on the right, this compound is D-serine. This compound. The heteroatom is on my left, and so this compound is L-serine. Now look at threonine. Actually, there are two chiral carbons, but you have to take the lowest numbered chiral carbon. You put the numbering of the entire chain, it is going to be 1 to 4. 2 and 3 are chiral carbons, but for amino acids, you have to take the lowest numbered chiral carbon. So it is carbon number 2. And therefore, since the NH2 is on the right, it is D-threonine. Last slide is weaknesses of DL nomenclature. So this, first of all, as I mentioned in the first beginning of the lecture, that this is based on an assumption of relative configuration. Fisher had assumed this to be dextrorotatory configuration of glyceraldehyde. And so this is based on the assumption of relative configuration. There is no proof. Secondly, it is not universally applicable as it indicates configuration of one carbon only. I think I mentioned that over here. This sugar and this sugar are different because configuration at one carbon is different. But that is not being considered because the rule says configuration at the highest numbered chiral carbon has to be considered. So, this is not universally applicable. Secondly, disparity in absolute configuration. This is the example of threonine. When you are nomenclating it as an amino acid, then you will put it as D-amino acid, right? Because the NH2 group is on your right. But if you are nomenclating it as an amino sugar, then you will take the configuration of highest numbered chiral carbon, that is this. And so you will nomenclate it as L sugar. Okay, so there is a disparity in absolute configuration. And all these weaknesses led to development of a more robust nomenclature method, and that is RS system of nomenclature. In the next lecture, we will see the RS system of nomenclature. In the meantime, on the title slide is mentioned my mail ID. In case you have any difficulties, please feel free to mail to me. If you like this lecture, if you feel you have understood it in a better way, then please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. After subscribing, if you hit the bell icon, you will automatically get intimations of whenever other further lectures are posted. So, thank you very much.